Welcome to the Week 9 NFL Trade Show for FantasyAlarm.com. Before I get to that, Giants, 2010, 2012, 2014, 3 championships in 5 seasons for the San Francisco Giants. Born and raised in the Bay Area, am I? Kudos to you, San Francisco Giants. Now, most of this, actually all of this, is going to be talking about NFL buy or sell, the trade show. What do we do with these players? A little bit of Halloween there. A little bit of Halloween here. I massage, Dr. Feelgood. Cheap, maybe. I do what I can. Sometimes I got to work with what I got. Let's start at the quarterback position. RG3 is going to be back under center in Week 9 for the Redskins. No more Colt McCoy. Good news for the Redskins. Elite weapons in Alfred Morris, Jordan Reed, Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon. With RG3 back under center, that offense could really take off. Now, RG3, where's his ankle at? We don't know. How much he can be able to run? We don't know. He did not perform well at the start of the season, so there's questions with RG3. But he should be added. You should be buying RG3. An excellent quarterback, too, in the fantasy game. Got a couple of weeks to get up to speed here. Might be someone you're turning to come fantasy playoffs. The next guy, Ben Roethlisberger. 500 yards, 6 touchdowns, generates a little bit of excitement. So why is the Oracle saying sell Ben Roethlisberger? Obviously, he can't perform better than he did last week. That's point number 1. But beyond that, how about the following? Two times in 10 years, he's played 16 games. He cannot stay healthy. Because of that, he has 1 season of 30 touchdowns and only 3 seasons of 4,000 yards. So that guy, with that track record and a decade of experience, you really think he's going to throw for 4,800 yards and 32 touchdowns as he's currently on pace to do? I don't think so. I say you sell high on Ben Roethlisberger coming off the best game of his career. The third quarterback is Michael Vick. Now, Geno Smith, sorry Geno, you stink. Just the way it is, you suck. He's out. How long Michael Vick stays under center is an open question. How effective he will be is an open question. If he can stay healthy, open question. But Michael Vick still has a strong arm. He still can beat a defense with his legs. He's only 51 yards away from becoming the first quarterback ever for 6,000 yards as a rusher in his career. He is well worth an add as a quarterback too. Get rid of the Ryan Fitzpatricks of the world that are sitting there on your bench, the Alex Smiths. Get rid of those guys. Take a chance on Michael Vick. It could come together. Could be a disaster. Could come together for the new quarterback with the Jets. Running back position. Giovanni Bernard hurt his hip last week. He was supposed to be fine. Well, he's missing practice now, and it seriously looks like he's not going to play in Week 9 against the Jaguars. We'll see a little bit of Cedric Pierman. He'll be around, but obviously this is the Jeremy Hill show if Giovanni Bernard can't go as expected. So what do we do with Hill? Do we buy or sell? Well, if you need him this week, you hold. But I say you sell. You give some thought to selling on Hill. Doesn't sound like Bernard's going to miss long-term work. Bernard has been a massive target monster. He's been a massive, touch guy is a better way to say it. Hill's been a handcuff, and I think that returns when Bernard is healthy. Let's not forget that only one time this year, and albeit in a support role, only one time this year has Hill got over 40 yards as a rusher. He's only got 1 touchdown in 4 games. 3.9 yards a carry is not attractive. The matchup with the Jaguars is a good one this week. 9th worst defense in football in PPR setups to the running backs. So Hill could have a very nice game without Bernard, but again, I would consider selling him. Haven't liked what I've seen on tape that much, and Bernard should be back in action soon. Ben Tate, always hurt. We already had that. He was hurt at the beginning. We saw Isaiah Crowell step forward. We saw Terrence West step forward, have some success. Now, West has been a healthy scratch. Crowell has been concerned to the coaching staff because of his inability to hold on to the football. So those 2 guys, they're there, and that makes people, if they own Tate, nervous. What also makes Tate owners nervous, 31 carries, 62 yards the last 2 weeks. Not good at all. Maybe we should be blaming or laying the blame at the injury to Alex Mack, the center, their best offensive lineman, having a big effect there. I say you buy, though, Ben Tate, and here's the reason why. His value right now is so low. I bet his current owner is looking at him as an RB3 flex option, maybe even lower than that. Some people might be ready to give up. So don't pay full price for Ben Tate. Don't expect Ben Tate to be a top 10 running back the rest of the way. Nothing crazy like that. But at the right price, he is someone that buying low on right now seems to make a lot of sense. Let's go out wide. We got 2 young receivers who exploded last week. Let's start out with the Colts' Dante Moncrief. 7 catches, 100-plus yards, and a touchdown. Everyone's in love. 12 targets, though. How did he get the 12 targets? He got the targets because Reggie Wayne was out of the mix. What happens now that Reggie Wayne returns? Moncrief obviously gets knocked down the pecking order. Now we've got T.Y. Hilton, who's fantastic. You've got Reggie Wayne, who moves the chains. You've got Dwayne Allen, who's the red zone threat. Where does that fit Moncrief in? He's the wide receiver 3. Andrew Luck is throwing the ball 40-plus times a week, so there can be value for Moncrief. Don't get me wrong. There can be value for him here. It does look like he's past Akeem Nicks, but for people thinking he's a weekly star, that he's a guy who's catching 5 or 6 passes every week, that he's going for 85, 90, 100 yards every week, I don't see that role for him in this offense unless something else changes. I would be selling on Dante Moncrief, a fantastic Dynasty League player, someone I own in my own Dynasty League. Long-term keeper leagues, you hold. But in a redraft league, consider selling on Dante Moncrief. Now, the other guy is Martavis Bryant, who's looked really good the last couple weeks for the Steelers. I noted how Ben Roethlisberger actually blew up last week, and because of that, everyone in the Steelers offense looked good. Touchdowns to Bryant, a touchdown for Wheaton, and Miller went over 100 yards. Brown did his normal thing. Everyone had success. Bryant has passed Wheaton, it looks like, at this point. A bigger player, more of a red zone threat, got a lot of speed, 6'4", 210 pounds. He can do a lot of things, and he is ascending. And like Moncrief, a dynamic option in the Dynasty League. But in a redraft league, I would not only sell Moncrief, I would sell Bryant too, and here's why. Despite the success Bryant had, obviously Ben Roethlisberger can't be counted on to throw for 300 yards a week, let alone 500. That should be self-explanatory. But secondly, Bryant may have passed Wheaton in the team's eyes and in the eyes of most, but last week, 84 snaps on offense for the Steelers, 34 snaps for Wheaton, 33 snaps for Bryant. Those two guys basically splitting the workload. And because of that, games of huge proportions are going to be very hard to find for either young receiver for the Steelers. I would be selling on both Moncrief and Bryant because the cost right now, simply put, you get a better return on the sell than you would on holding them and starting them. And then two tight ends. Let's start out with Jordan Cameron. Concussion issue. Looks like he's almost certain not to play in Week 9. In Week 10, the Browns play on Thursday. That's a concern. Is he going to be ready to return from his concussion at that point? Maybe not. As we have pointed out, as Jeff Manns of Fantasy Alarm pointed out early and all offseason, Cameron's in a different offense this year. It wasn't fair to expect him to be the superstar he was last year. With all the injuries, the concussion was multiple issues with concussions going back. Might be wise to take a look at selling Cameron. And then finally, we've got Larry Donnell of the Giants. You want to buy Larry Donnell. 7 catches last week. That's the 5th game this year where he's had at least 5 catches. And he's had 4 games with 6 receptions. Laid a couple of stinkers that really disappointed people. But the fact of the matter is, with no Victor Cruz in the mix, there's more targets to go around for Donnell. With Rashad Jennings nearing a return, that should boost the running game, opening up space a little bit more. Donnell, not a dynamic option, but a very solid guy to turn to in PPR setups. I'm Ray Flowers. This has been the Week 9 trade show for FantasyAlarm.com. Don't forget to visit FantasyAlarm.com all the time. You can get free rankings there. Yeah, free, folks. We give them away every week so you know who to play. And we've also got the live advice Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Jeff Manns tomorrow. That's right, on Halloween. We'll be doing live advice if you want to ask us a question. The one and only place, the only stop you need in fantasy sports, is FantasyAlarm.com. I'm Ray Flowers. Talk to y'all again soon.